This week, we have been looking back and talking with Wisconsin residents who appeared on Late Night with David Letterman.
Yeah, and as Dave wraps up his run tonight, Mark Kane talks with a Middleton guy who was just too hot for Dave to handle.
Middleton's Mustard Museum is home to the world's largest selection of mustards. It's the brainchild of its founder, Barry Levinson. So what does this have to do with David Letterman?
It's The Late Show with David Letterman.
I had a brush with David Letterman.
What happened?
Well, I was invited out to be on the show, actually to be part of a group of people who collected things.
It was a taped segment to be aired at a later date.
When it got to me, after the kid with the vacuum cleaners and the woman with the swizzle sticks and the guy who had Liberace clothing got to me and he said, "So you collect mustard. Did you bring any mustards for me to taste?" I said, "I did, Dave, so let's start working our way up to the hottest one." "Just give me your hottest one," he said. I said, "Okay, Dave, but just take a little." And that's when the trouble ensued.
The troublemaker is a mustard called Hit and Run.
He took more than anyone should ever take, and he was on the floor writhing in pain.
He wasn't happy.
He was not happy, and when he finally recovered after about 10 minutes, he said, "All right, we're done with him." And they said, "Dave, you haven't even talked to him." "We're done with him." So I guess you could say Dave couldn't cut the mustard.
This whole episode left a burning impression with Letterman. Back in 1996, my then co-anchor Beth Zerbachen and I interviewed Dave in his offices in New York. Afterwards, we gave Dave some gifts, incling a jar of mustard.
Oh, I do have something for you from the Mustard Man.
Oh, this guy, yeah, this stuff. I had some of this one time that nearly
No,
killed
this
me.
is not the. This is
not the killer mustard?
No, this is. He says he's sorry.
Yeah.
And
You apologize for that.
Yeah, that other stuff. It was like the hottest, most unpleasant.
I had a lick of it, and it was awful.
I had like a tablespoon of it. I didn't realize it was going to be that hot.
Dave was not happy, even years later. But really, how hot can a mustard be?
Here, just take that. That's all. I'm just giving you a little to lick off this. Here, just a tad. Just a tad. Oh. Wow. He took a giant spoonful. Of course he was on the floor.
I don't blame him. Oh, Barry never made it on Letterman, and all recordings of the encounter were erased. And though it didn't end well, Barry Levinson had his brush with greatness. One word for David Letterman would be
Peace. Okay, all is forgiven, Dave.
we're not sure Dave would agree. In Middleton, I'm Mark Kane, WISC News 3.
You can take both of those home.
That was great. I love Barry, by the way. Dave hosts his final Late Show in just about 20 minutes. But if you're setting your DVR, listen, because it's going to run about an hour 18 tonight. So a little bit longer show. You don't want to mess up your recording.